Already updated my repositories. Orchard 1, what did we do on Orchard 1? So 5.5, oh, first, OneNote. Topics, I want to find a time to talk about sanitization. I want to talk about BagPart summaries because we forgot about it for 2 weeks already. I want to talk about the RC2 branch. I'd like to have a demo about custom settings. I'd love to see a demo from Gabor about the new Lombiq site that they tweeted about, which looks super nice. The one that was made with Seth Cleaver. Just tell us, Gabor, if you can just show it, like explain what it does and explain what you did. I usually worked on the project also. You are the Orchard core specialist in Lombiq, so you must.
Yes, I work on that.
At least you got something out of the meetings that you record every week. Now you are the Orchard core specialist at Lombiq. Nobody knows more than you. Status update first on Orchard 1 then, and it was last time 4.28. 4.28, which means this one, reuse settings, shell descriptor record during HTTP request, optimization, so there is less request queries, database queries during a request to load this item. So improving performance on the admin, which can be a drastic improvement. I did a new index to CommonPartRecord, same to optimize some specific performance issues. Attempted AutoroutePart improvements. I hope it's not just attempted. Same thing for optimization. So they are just working on optimizing all the bottlenecks they can find and doing also concurrent access. They just filed an issue this morning asking for feedback on how to solve the last remaining issues on their perf analysis. So good job to Matteo and Hermes and other laser employees. On performance. Orchard core, what did I say? 28. 28, let's look at this one. Adding a note on hiding shapes from placement. Documentation, if you put a value of dash, then it will also hide a shape. Fixing modular background service logging and improving if I assume I will see a few PRs like this that have been merged that I haven't had the time to look at. It's fair, but I'm scared. I'm scared. Okay, so this is just syntax change. This is typo. This is syntax change, and this is information instead of error in modular background service. Oh, he mentioned in the issue that it was to fix the nasty log that you could see every time you stop Orchard. It will file an error. Well, it's just information stopping because it has stopped expectedly. Okay, and syntax. Okay. Well, syntax, not catch it if it's fatal, meaning so catch exception when it's not fatal. Otherwise, just let it bubble up. Okay. Thank you, Zoltan. Who's late? Dave is late. Dave's late. Fixing the file naming convention. Edit. Okay. I was afraid to change the files. No, so fixing some file names in documentation. I assume since we went through custom drivers for custom editors. Add Greg Sicken as a contributor. Oh, I looked at the page, Antoine. I have some feedback. You are using, so you take the pictures from GitHub, but I would have hoped that you could just use the thumbnail from GitHub with, when you hover the thumbnail, you could have the pop-up of the account. Let me show you, because it's related to that. So github.com. And I will tell you offline why I want that. So you see here, when I hover your face, I see this pop-up. I would love to be able to see that on the contributors page instead. If you can repro the same HTML or the same pop-up somehow, I don't know. Because I want to be able to see the GitHub profile in this page. And hopefully it's also less work because you take the pictures, which seems to be the GitHub profile picture, and also the link. Like for me, you took the about me. I mean, I would just prefer to see the GitHub pop-up if it's possible. And I'm sure it's a lot of work to find the URL for each of these things.
It's automatic. It's all contributors that generate that kind of links.
And can you customize?
You can customize. There is a format somehow.
Okay.
But,
so the question is,
okay,
you
can do pop-up.
You see what you can do, if you can use the GitHub pop-up or not. Okay. Am I missing any badges? Is there anything I can do to have a badge?
Yes.
Aha. I'm the Boy Scout of the badges for the... I've done nothing, I just see them appearing every week. So this one, render BagPart items with some... Who merged that? We're not supposed to merge it. You are not supposed to merge it until we talk about it, because we wanted to warn everyone. You were at the meeting. We wanted to warn everyone about the change before we merge it, but that's okay. Now it's done, so let's talk about it, because it will impact people. So the idea is that after some discussions during the triage, it has been decided to revert one of the changes that was done by myself, I think in September, to display the content items inside a BagPart. They were displayed at some point in summary, then I moved them to detail to fix an issue, but it was the wrong solution. They should really be displayed as summary. The new issue that was submitted was that if you have widgets inside a BagPart, then they will be displayed as detail and show stuff that should not, and it's not supposed to be, like widgets should not have a detailed view, they just have summary views. So it was failing in this case if you had to lead widgets to BagPart, which itself is weird. Why would you add a widget to a BagPart? FlowPart does that, but BagPart is for content items, not widgets, content items. But let's say that. And so we decided to just go back to summary. That will fix the issue, and also other issues, apparently. I don't remember which one it was. And what happens is that it will change it will break your themes if you have provided custom templates for widgets using the detailed template instead, the detailed display type instead of the summary display type. If they are in BagPart, but it should not break anyone because nobody, in theory, puts widgets inside a BagPart. Just specific content types. You can technically do that, but I don't know anyone who will do that. That would be weird. Weird. It's not. You will not do that often. So let's say this way. So default is summary. Now for the display type, you can still change your display type for the items in the BagPart to another display type if you want. So that's super useful to customize the rendering of a dedicated BagPart. And here, by security, as a fallback, which was the correct fix to the initial issue, is to define a widget summary template that will be used in case you render a widget inside a BagPart, because it will use the summary. And the issue was that can't find a widget summary template. So now it's done, which is a copy of the widget detail, So widgets are always rendered in detail in FlowPart or in layers. And if you happen to put a widget in a BagPart, then it will use a widget summary. But a widget should always be rendered in detail, should not be added to a BagPart. A BagPart will always render its items in summary by default. That's the change that I wanted to talk about, because it might impact your themes if you upgrade to this version now. Okay, makes sense. We should all have the camera to see everyone's face. Maybe we don't want to see their face. That's okay. Patch 1, very good patch. I don't know what it is, but it's a very good patch. So whoever merges the PRs, feel free. If not, please do it. Change the text of the merge to whatever you want that makes sense for the PR, because that's very obvious here. So the continuation apparently on the changes from before, that will update the name of the shapes that have to be defined. You see the editor name, the custom editor. So just continuation, fixing the doc. That's good. Thanks, Eli. Thanks, Eli. In French, I would say Eli, but in English, you say Eli. Validate consecutive slashes in AutoroutePart. There was a bug file that it could break if you had a wrong pattern, so now it's validated. Use PrefixPosition for admin menu. We talked about it, I think, last week. We reviewed that. So now there is a method to prefix the order strings, and that looks good. Update QXCAN as a contributor. Fix null error when rendering HTML part in Flow Editor. Okay. Making FormPart generic. Oh yeah, where is that? With feedback. So now you can customize the FormPart, attach it to any content type, define the encoding type of a form if you want an anti-forgery token or not on the form. So it's good. Removing unnecessary dependencies. You can customize the wrapper of forms. Actually, I'm wondering if you can customize the wrapper of forms for each content type. That's the question I still have. Enc type. Maybe we should remove that. And it was not used. Okay. Adding option to enable mini profiler to the admin. So now you can, and it's documented. We asked Sultan to add some documentation, and he didn't complain about that. That's good. So you can customize from code. It's explained here. You can customize from code here, or maybe there. Better example. No, it's explaining how to customize anything, but from code you can now enable mini profiler on the admin side. Oh, here. This is the, well, you just call this thing allow mini profiler on admin from something like this. Add mini profiler to mkdocs, link to mini profiler. Add PLN as a contributor. Okay, fixing typos, a lot of them. So Zoltan enabled a plugin on Visual Studio to check the spellings, and he fixed all the spellings. Upgrade ImageSharp.Web. There was an RC1, so Dean updated to the RC1 that fixes many issues, and hopefully doesn't break anything else. We'll see. Update version of website manifest and recipes. Okay, must have been a null PR. We saw that a long time ago. Oh, and I remember my comment was to not do that for the templates. So to not do that for the templates. Oh, it was just about the version. Yeah, just about the version. That's good. Oh yeah, not using the perfect. Perfect. Okay, looks good. And you use the RC2 here, which is okay for now, but any RC2 change should go in an RC2 branch, not in the dev branch, I think. And then we'll merge the RC2 branch back to dev. Or we merge master and master back to dev. Then make content recipe step idempotent. So this has been merged. A lot of work, beautiful. Thank you, Dean. You should add 2 contributors badge, 2 contributor badges to Dean. Antoine, can you do that? Pile them up. Validating async. So the idea is that there is a new method called validating async. Did you do the validated async also? I don't remember. We talked about it. I don't remember what we said and what you did. So
yeah, there's a method for validating and there's events.
Wow. So big features here. Importing imported, that will be triggered whenever the import is done on a content manager. So you can do whatever you want to the content when it's imported or importing. The difference is just for ordering stuff after before in case you need to be done after others. Same thing for validating validated, which will let you invalidate something globally without a driver, just intercept that, and you can also change the state of something if you want during that to ensure it's unique, for instance. That's why we made this. And the goal of this PR is that any import or API call to create content will be idempotent, meaning that the same action will executed multiple times will result in the same effect. Like if you say create a content item with the ID 1, the first time it will create it, the second time it will tell you nothing to do because it's already done. Or if you call delete 10 times, it will do it the first time and don't do anything the next time and don't break. Just tell you already done. Okay. But if you say create a new item 10 times, it will create a new item 10 times. It depends on the parameters you pass. So it should be beautiful for the import story. It was very necessary. People complaining about, hey, my version is not taken into account, or I start the import 3 times and I have 3 versions. Why? Should we just update the same one all the time? So yep. And I won't look further. I'm afraid I get buttons. This is the validating. You see, if you try to import a content item with an alias that already exists, it will tell you, no, you can't. Ooh, faces. Beautiful. Thank you. Guys wearing glasses. Oh yeah, you've always wore glasses. Depends on the context. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, but you still need to unmute yourself when you talk because I can't read lips, even with Dutch accent.
I thought we might practice, but these are blue light filter glasses.
Okay, because it's night.
No, it's because of the monitor. It emits blue light and it makes my eyes tired. So now instead of doing 8 hours a day, I can do 24 hours.
I would have said more than 24 hours. That's kind of disappointing. Only 24 hours per day. Like if you were a 10x engineer, to be 240 hours.
240. So
you don't know about the 10x engineers?
No.
Ah, Google that. It's
I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, you can. There is a discussion online for years that some people are worth 10 times other people at developing. Meaning, like there are some guys that can do things that even 10 guys could not be able to do. Okay, so if you have like this kind of guy, no, not me, but I know some people like this. So I trust this thing. Or there are some people that can do stuff that, and you can get it that some people are so clever that they can do things that others, even if they are good or will work all their life, will not be able to achieve something. But one guy will be like, no, it's easy, I can do that. You know, that's this kind of people. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They call them 10x engineers. It's a myth, but yeah. Jasmine is here. So, isNew. IsNew when a content card is created. So you can know that the widget is created just now. Fix login redirect for external providers. So this has been accepted.
We reverted it.
Oh, okay, it was reverted. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Too quick, Antoine, too quick. Let people, these kind of things related to security that can be controversial or need more scrutiny, you can let them leave some time. Add content menu item. Add content menu item. Oh, that's, yeah, no. We got a demo last week from Dean. That's the feature we said, let's get it inside. New content menu items. Okay, we saw that last week. Good job. Content menu update from what? That's weird to use a recipe migration for something like this. What is it doing? Yeah, not even sure I would do a migration.
Because the original one is done with a recipe as well.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I will do a migration. I will just let the existing website die without that. And create it for the new ones. Or at least that's going to make it from a recipe. In this case, if it's a migration. Okay. I mean, we made the feature, but I'm not sure we should use it in the default repository, this feature, to support recipe migrations. Because we can do code, we know how to do code. Okay. We might also want to reset the migrations at some point to say, nope, now you have to start from this version. So chat, how do we add a background image? So I noticed that if you need the new team version first, so update your team version, and then when you join the meeting, I think it tells you, it asks you what background you can have. Revert set. Okay, reverted. Update configuration docs. Beautiful. Wow. Just to show how to create a tenant from configuration. That's good.
Because there was a slight change in the way it's configured, so we needed to update it because the change hadn't been reflected in the docs.
Make import data security critical permission. As a reminder, a security critical permission is a permission that could enable you to elevate your permissions and abuse a feature to become super admin. There are some features like this in Orchard, like running a recipe. If you run a recipe, you can enable any feature, a feature that might give you access to anything, or change some content that might give you access to anything. So this is security critical, meaning if you allow people to do that, they can potentially do even more than just that. So be careful when you add it. But we don't want to let you just say, okay, you need to add admin privilege to the user because it's the same thing. It's not really the same thing. It can be abused, but at least by just enabling that, you won't show lots of things that could be done by mistake if you were granting the permission admin. All the buttons that will appear to delete stuff, to create tenants and everything. Yes, this permission can be abused, but at least it will be on purpose, an abuse, not by mistake. Like, oh, I didn't know that this button will do that. So people want to not show this button. So people can't do any bad mistake unintentionally. That's why we have security critical permissions. Placement link in docs. Okay, fix placement link. That was quick. Revert fix. Okay, revert fix logging redirect for example. Oh, that was another revert. Okay. What was this revert then? The isNew. Because it was a mistake. I think I saw a comment. Update bootstrap-select. Okay. Must be very important release. Upgrade mkdocs material. Okay. Oh, so much activity. I can't keep up everything today. Yes, this morning I looked at the PRs and they were down, and I'm like, I saw so many new PRs, but the number just keeps decreasing. That's weird. So all the updates of the dependencies, fix logging redirect for external providers. Now with the fix that just takes one change. So removing that. So we remove that.
So the idea is from Kevin that the same site cookie will default to lax, which works in Chrome under HTTP and HTTPS. And he also wanted to remove, and also now works with the AD providers. And he wanted to remove the none from OpenID.
Okay. Trust him. Security is about trust, so let's trust the security expert. Save token, new feature to save the external tokens to be able to reuse them inside the user payload. They are encrypted. It's inside the user object. It's a user token class. Interesting. There was some good discussions on the thread. I loved it. So just to say, there is a new implementation of where is the implementation of the class? Oh, no, yes, user store now implements the interface named iUser authentication token store. Okay. And if you want to manage the tokens, you just use the user manager, the user store, and probably also the user manager that will let you do get token async and set token async or update token async, remove token async and set token async. Beautiful. Michael, document activate links to extend functionality for nested menus, items, and action. Oh, mark active item in a menu. Documentation. Okay. Activate links. I don't know what it is, but I trust him. Document activate links. Extension. Oh, this is for the admin menu. Oh, too complex for me. Maintain widget content item IDs across FlowPart. I'm sure you created a PR like this morning. Okay, so that's the reflection of a feature that you made for BagParts. Now to maintain the FlowPart content item IDs. It's like idempotency for content item IDs. Somehow. Fixes bulk actions filtering. Interesting. Chantier is doing some UI changes. We should not trust Chantier to do some UI changes. Fixes workflow activity infinite loop. Yes, so if you could with the editor do weird things like have a connector that is dangling for nothing or that is pointing back to you, and now is instead of DDoSing your server by doing 100% CPU when you have that in an infinite loop, now it's checking, okay, if there is no destination, then don't do anything. Don't run the activity. It's because of Zipco. That must be because of Zipco. Well, I'm sure if you look at the issue in Orchard 1, you have the same issue. So I won't say anything.
Well, I did add a little, a few gotchas here and there for people to find.
And Lucene Beta 8 is now released, well, a new beta from 7 to 8 every 6 months with performance improvements. Low-level stuff, stream stuff, byte reading stuff. I don't know how much it will impact us, but new stuff. Good job. They are releasing more and more stuff. That's good. And that's done for the updates. Questions, comments? Why the site has the old link? Yes, I saw that, Antoine. I forgot to mention that to you. I assume did you ship a new version of the site? And that's why
it was changed on my repository, and I
maybe so. Yeah. So we need to fix the link to the new thing. I was looking at the site when last week. I don't know why. For the workshops, maybe. And while I'm talking about that, just to mention that orchardcore.net /workshop has been updated, and now you have links for each workshop directly. This one is soon. You have to work on that, Dean.
I should work on that. That would be a good idea. That's this weekend.
Stop sending some PRs. Focus. Good. I said I have topics. So we talked about that. RC2 branch, the idea is that following Zoltan's request, I will go on the site, but I'm sure I will get a link in the chat before that. Oh. Issues. RC2 validation. Okay, so now there is a list that has been evolving since it was created with all the things. I didn't see these things. Okay. Wow, I didn't get these notifications. Interesting. Okay, all the things that need to be done to ship RC2. Create a release /RC2 branch out of dev. And then all the PRs for RC2 will go target this release. Okay, this way it allows us to cherry pick what we want to push to RC2 and what we want to push to dev. If something needs to be to RC2, we create the PR or we retarget it to RC2, and then we merge it back to dev if we also want it in dev. Okay, quickly, not to block anyone. Set RC2 in AutoCore commands props. So this has been done. This is a PR actually to set the prefix of the version instead of RC1. Use RC2 packages in the documentation. Update the module versions if necessary. It was done a long time ago. Test templates. Tested. How can you test something if we don't even have a feed?
I made a new site today, so I tested a couple of templates.
At least that's always good to test something that works. Maybe it will be broken, so we need to do it again. But usually that bites us every time we do a release. People are like, well, I can't run this template. What's happening? Test the guides to be sure that the updated versions work on the NuGet and everything. We had an issue last time. Close remaining issues for RC2. So this is just to define how the labels will be migrated from 1.0 to RC2, and then okay, that's something I do it for all the releases. Create release notes, merge RC2 to master, which will ship on NuGet. Tag master with 1.0 RC2 for people to know when RC2 was shipped. Test NuGet packages, which should be done with those items. Update the website and a blog post. Tweet about it. Replace RC1 by the new version on NuGet. What is that?
In the docs.
Yeah, that's...
When we know which is the new version,
yes. Yes,
that's we need to find this occurrence in the docs and change it.
So let me move it up because that's supposed to be done before we test the templates and create release notes.
But it needs to be published on NuGet before.
Yes.
But I should have specified in the docs.
What I thought is that so that's also we might need a custom feed for release branches to the packages before we merge them into master. Okay. So maybe that's something we can do there to get packages and test using the feed from MyGet with RC2 versions. And okay, I won't do it. But
yes, okay. I was suggesting to use AutoroutePart-dev on MyGet instead of AutoroutePart-preview to switch to this MyGet feed.
Can't we just release it on the same feed?
No, there is one that is called AutoroutePart-dev, and that is used by AutoroutePart.transactions.
I know, but can't we use the same feed? It's a different version with a different build number. It won't collide with anything. And then we can, because our current templates, they use RC1-star. So they won't take this one. And now we can just say RC2-star. So I think we can use a MyGet feed. Yeah, let's try it. Change Docker version, blah, blah. Okay, that's the issue to follow for RC2 branches. I want to go back there. BagPart summary is talking about it. Sanitization, there is a PR from Dean to implement good sanitization. The idea being that we want options to disable sanitization in WYSIWYG parts. For instance, markdown part, HTML body part, markdown fields, HTML body fields. The goal is by default to prevent anyone from being able to inject a script, a JavaScript, by any way, and there are many ways to that. And the ultimate goal is to do the sanitization at edit time, which is risky. And usually you don't want risky stuff in security-related matters, but it should be safe. We thought about all the scenarios. There is only one case apparently that has to be done right now at the rendering level, but the idea is that once you edit an HTML body or a Markdown body, without this option, you can't use Liquid. And you can use only, let me introduce that actually, it would make sense. So no, it's not Dean, it's Antoine who started that. So Antoine started the PR. Sanitizer. 51 files changed now. Wow. So we're using the project called HTML Sanitizer because it's proofed, bulletproof library to sanitize, which means it will make your HTML be standardized, like normalized. And also it can remove any script tags and any script inside the tags, like a link that will have a JavaScript colon something or an onload something. So all the weird stuff you could imagine to inject some scripts when someone is editing some content. It's about trust because here it's just editors that could write custom code, okay, custom JavaScript inside their editing box. And most of the time we just say, yeah, that's fine. My editors, they can write JavaScript. That's completely okay. They could write XSS with their JavaScript. So sometimes you don't want to let editors be able to do that. So in this case, you will use this option, which will be the default, by the way, for these editors. Well, for these input types, HTML body part, Markdown body part, and fields. But there are many ways in Orchard already that won't prevent, and we don't want to prevent users from being able to do that, like in templates, where we did the shape templates, or when you edit the layout template, the layout shape, or when you inject custom name scripts that will have stuff inside, jQuery, Google Scripts, Google Analytics. So these things, just give the permissions to edit these things to users that you trust more than trust, like that won't hack your site, that should not, or that could hack your site even without that, and this way you are safe. So to provide this feature, so we need HTML Sanitizer to protect HTML body part, Markdown body part. And what we do is that because when you have this feature, you can't do Liquid to inject image tags like we did before. There is a new kind of tag, but it's not really something that is supported. It's just, supported. It's not a kind of tag. It's if there is a filter somewhere that if it finds the media between square brackets inside your HTML content, HTML body content, then it will replace that by the URL of the media. We used Liquid before to do that. But if we allow Liquid in this case, you can inject any scripts you want. So we need something that you can't do anything you want, that you can just pass the name of a media and done. And we will just render the media path and done, accept no other input. The goal is that we will ensure that no input from the user can provide an unknown behavior. So this way we have one safe thing like this, call it a BB code, like in Orchard 1, that can render a media. And any feature, any module can do the same thing to provide their own snippet like this, or even provide an extensible way of providing snippets. The contract is that these snippets have to be secure. You can't enable a feature with a snippet that will take user input without being safe in terms of HTML sanitization. If you do that, then you break the sanitization feature and you can expose XSS attacks to editors. And how it's done. So first there is this service that you can use everywhere you want to sanitize some content. And then there is so we will see the duplicate code for Markdown and for HTML, for fields and for parts, or 4 times. There is a setting, HTML body part settings, that you will find with the allow custom scripts. That should be disabled by default. It's false. And then I want to find where you implemented media. And I know you look for that. Okay, this component, it's a iSafe called filter that will be called intentionally by all the parts and fields that want to sanitize stuff. And one will say, okay, if you want to process this text, I will return you the same thing. But if I find media inside and also the /media, then I will replace what's inside by the evaluation of the resolution of the media path. Okay. And also encoding any user input, so you can't try to provide a custom URL for media and it will be injected internally. Yep, and it's generating an image tag. And I was thinking, by seeing the image tag, maybe you also want something that just gives you the path. If you want to inject some custom HTML with just the URL inside, or image set or picture tag or whatever. At least we have that. Same thing in Liquid. I'm not sure we have yes, we have it in Liquid to generate a URL. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I still need to add that. I haven't had time.
That's good already. So, yep, and also didn't change the scripts in the editors to when you pick up an image to generate this tag directly in the content. Good job. Oh, even unit test to see if people can hijack the thing. It's crazy. You work too much, Dean. You work too much. And now you're even sanitizing the HTML with the, do you call the disable HTML or not?
No, I haven't added the disable HTML. There was some tests there that I'll probably delete just to see whether or not we could sanitize Markdown on render easily. It's still a work in progress there.
Okay.
But we might add, I might actually just add the Markdown builder or pipeline to the whole Markdown arrangement so that you can configure the pipeline if you want to anyway. Because it's easy and because people might want to add some of the extensions.
Yep, that will make sense. After your workshop. Good. So that's about the sanitization that will be merged soon, and hopefully before RC2. That was a goal for the RC2 branch. Demo, which one first? 1 minute from Dean. Do you want to do the custom settings?
I can't do a demo tonight on this computer, on my laptop.
Okay, so next week let's talk about the Lombiq site. You want to talk, Gabor, about the Lombiq site and show that? And
yeah, sure, I can talk about the Lombiq site. Then I'm gonna share.
Well, the Lombiq site, not the Lombiq site, but the one Lombiq did.
Yes. So if you navigate to our site and find the latest blog post, it's about building a multi-tenant platform on AutoroutePart 4 sets. The main goal of this platform is maybe to, as you can see here, to create an intuitive service process that enables people within a church to easily find a service of a group to attend, simplify the administrative process required for getting people into groups, and provide information to the group coordinators that might assist in planning and measuring effectiveness. But you can read a lot more details about the site. And if you navigate to the homepage of the Kast Group Finder site, you can see that here you can have a button to experience the demo about how you can, or how the users can use this group finder to find the given group that they would like to attend. So for example, let's say we would like to fill out this form with some data, the required data. And here you can see a text box about the preferred group location. The interesting stuff about this text box is that if you start to type the suburb, you will see that you will get some suggestions about the cities. And here we are using the Google Maps API. And if you select the city, the group location will be filled with the name of the city. And in the background, we store the longitude and the latitude values for this city. Soon you will find out why. And yes, after you fill out this form, you can click on next, and you can select what are the relevant group types that interest you. For example, I would like to go on a group for men's, and this could be child-friendly as well. Select next, and here you can see that I select two different that I have two different kind of groups here. One is Clifton Hill and one is Kew, and all these groups are over 20 kilometers away from Budapest. And here comes the stuff that helps us to show the results, because as I mentioned, we store the longitude and the longitude of the city. And in this case, if I, for example, say that I'm at Clifton Hill, we can let's try Clifton Hill. Let's see what will happen. On here, yes, Australia. Next. And you can see that now it's within 5 kilometers of Clifton Hill.
So Clifton Hill is 5 kilometers away from Clifton Hill? That's a bug, right?
No. No. We use different grouping when showing you the groups. And here you can see some overview of the group. And if you would like to connect with the group, you can send an expression of interest. And maybe one of the most difficult parts of this application is to provide an admin UI for users where they can enter the different kind of recurrence rules of the events, because in every group you can find different kind of events, and they can have different meeting times. They can be at every Sunday or every second Sunday at 10 a.m. or it can be different kind of rules. And for that, we don't want to force the admin users to enter recurrence rules. So for that, we have to use Vue.js in the admin UI. And by using that Vue.js, they can simply use, I think, a very nice editor to build the pattern. And if you notice, this whole group finder application is a Vue.js application where we used our Orchard Vue.js module. And by using this Vue.js module, we can simply inject this group finder application to the Kast platform. If you're interested in how to use Vue.js in Orchard Core, you will find a sample for it in our Orchard Core training and module.
What I noticed is that it's a content item, but you didn't provide an autoroute to it. Look at the URL. It's just a weird unique ID. Why don't you provide a nice URL for that? It's better.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Dean will teach you. You go to his workshop and he will show you how to do that. He knows about routing or aliases, whatever.
So I think that's
And
all.
where is the multi-tenancy part of that? Can I create my own? What is it? What is a tenant in this case?
A tenant in this case is, how can I say that? You will have the availability to create your own site, and in your own site you can create groups, and you can create events for that groups, and for that you can use this kind of event.
So the
you
ground.
can use this kind of event group finder, and in this case you will have some tools, because if you navigate here you can see that group finder is just one piece of the tenant that you can use. In a tenant, for example, if you have different kind of church management system, then we provide you a data sync, and in that case you can import the data from there and build your own groups and events based on the data comes from that church management systems. So yes, in this case you can have one tenant in these platforms, and one tenant can contain different kind of data from multiple church management system, and based on that data you can construct your groups and events.
Okay, so each organization can create a tenant and manage groups and events with
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So when you show the growth church, this is one tenant, and in the growth church there are many groups, the Clifton Hill group, the Q group, and so on. Okay.
Yes, yes, and groups and events can come from different kind of church management systems, and that's why the main difficulty here is to provide an admin UI, but to provide an easy to use admin UI, because if you would like to use a tenant here, you will be an administrator of that tenant, and by using the admin UI you can set up the group finder, you can set up the events, you can set up the groups, and that's why we have to customize a little bit the admin UI, and by adding a little bit of Vue.js heaviness to it.
Or even do it on the front end, not admin, just management UI to manage everything, even if it's not in the admin.
Yes, it can be also done, but this is the front end of the site, and the admin UI is for the admins. But it can also be possible to manage stuff in the front end, but in our case we do it in the back end, in the admin UI.
Okay, thank you very much. Jasmine is asking, is it using Lucene?
No, we are using SQL.
No special Lucene or whatever to find the distance?
No special Lucene.
How do you find which group is far away from Budapest?
We are using index tables, if I know well.
Okay, interesting. Well, yeah, that's weird. I'm not even sure I think there is a PR on SQL to support special types, but it's not merged, or there is none.
Yeah, geospatial search.
Okay. Good job. So next week, because it's always next week, we'll get a demo of custom settings or other things. Any questions, topics before we close the meetings? Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. See you on Thursday, 10 a.m. PDT for the triage, or next Tuesday for the next meeting. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.